Okay, so it's been a moment. Has nothing to do with the class, but I finally made it to the pulmonologist. They are changing up my meds. I'm having a little bit of a time doing the transition, so still not grand, but I'm getting there. So, um, also all kinds of other crap, but that's life, right? Okay, so I've been thinking about a bunch of different things. I've made some adjustments. Um, you have a new module, well, two new modules in your course. And one of them is about the group project, and that's where I'm going to start putting everything in there. So I would highly recommend keeping an eye on that module. I put it way up high. I'll show you in a little bit. And then I also started another one about news articles, PDFs. So what I did was I went through a whole bunch that I've been holding on to, wanting to share it with you guys, and did print, save PDF, put it in there. I've only gone through one email account for this. So I actually have two newsletters, and one comes to one email account that's from New York Times. Then into another email account comes the Washington Post. I haven't gone through those yet. Still getting there. So while my world has been exploding and I have been feeling bad, and you might not have been seeing me a whole lot, I've been compiling all these news articles I want to share with you. And it gets overwhelming. And when you start doing a lot of keeping up with the news, you'll see that it can start making your brain kind of and like really affect you because there's a lot not great right now. Um, and so I have to kind of come and go to the news. And I just spent like probably a good almost hour going back through the different articles in order to get them together, both for the American government class and the global politics class. Some of them are in both classes, but I didn't do a whole lot of global in the American politics, but there's a good deal of the American government articles that are also in the global because America is part of the globe. So there you go. I didn't change the names for any of them. I just straight up hit save as PDF. So they're saved under pretty much what their headlines are. I did not do subcategories or anything like that. I do highly recommend taking a look at them. Some of them should help you with the discussions that are coming, which brings me to the next part. I am starting to implement the topics that you guys said you would like covered. I'm trying to make it match either with where we are in the textbook or what's happening in the real world. So just know that's going to start popping up very, very, very quickly. And yeah, so group stuff. A couple of people have messaged me. They're concerned because nobody's talking in their group. Only one person's talking in the group, blah, blah, blah. Totally normal. Try not to stress yourself out. I know it's hard because group work can be scary and it's annoying, and you've probably been burnt on it in the past. Everybody gets their own individual grade for my group projects. I have not made a grading rubric yet, but it is coming because I am still deciding. This week, we have step 2 for your group project, and I will cover that in just a moment. But first, I wanted to tell you to try not to stress about it. Um, every single term until midterm, people in a group, not so great. For some reason, there are people in classes every single term who kind of do almost nothing until midterm. Then they get a really bad midterm grade. Then they suddenly panic. Then they care. And the number of people who will then ask me to reopen things, which I will not do, escalates. Then we will have a couple of people who will, there was a lizard running up my wall. It got my attention. It was like the exact same shade of green as the leaf. And so I thought the leaf was touching, but no, then it just ran off. So probably in an old. Anyway, um, basically, you will notice that the first bits for this group project are really just discussing. It's having conversations with your group mates. It's defining things. It's a dialogue. It's my own version of getting you to do research, basically. It is not actually planning the project. That will happen after midterm. So after midterm is when the grading rubric will show up. And that's when you will have this is your final destination, if you will. I do this on purpose because, again, there are people who are going to do absolutely nothing and then come at me around midterm. I didn't know. What do you mean? Nothing is ever opened for me. That kind of thing. And then I will point out that they didn't follow the instructions that were given from day one and that they need to actually read things and watch things and open things and that kind of thing. And then people will drop out. So, in order to keep it from being where you have assigned a task to somebody and then they drop the course, I'm just not giving you that until after midterm because after midterm, we know who's staying in the class. I hope that makes sense. I was about to ask you if that makes sense, and then I remember this is video. You can't answer me. Let's see. The reopening of quizzes, not reopening, but reviewing the quizzes. I've had most people who got back to me were able to actually see them. Um, I've had one or two people who are still having issues, and I replied and asked for screenshots to show me exactly what it's saying. Because until I see exactly what it's saying, I don't know how to fix the problem when everybody else is saying that they can access it. So this might be a user error kind of thing. So if you're watching this and you're still unable to review your previous quizzes, take screenshots, like the entire full screenshot, and send it to me so I can try to help you because it will look differently for you than it does for me. Yeah, because I want you to be able to have access to it sooner rather than later because they help you for your exams. Let's see. Discussions. Again, make sure you're looking at that rubric. Look at your feedback. I have not graded the week 4 discussions yet. I am making this video on Saturday, the day before week 5 opens, because I just finished deciding what I was doing for everything for week 5. So, I mean, I'm like, whew, I'm just barely under the wire here. So I will be grading those discussions later today or tomorrow. So I don't have specific feedback yet. Just a reminder to look at the grading rubric, make sure you're putting your initial post when you're supposed to, that the cutoff time is always going to be 10 p.m. You're responding to a minimum of 3 different people for your posts, that kind of thing. Read the directions. For those of you who think that you have figured out to hack the system and you copy the discussion directions and paste it into chat and then copy that answer and paste it into the discussion, that's not hacking the system. That's failing the system. That's failing the whole thing because the whole purpose is to get you thinking. You cannot get through life having something else answer your questions and never using your own brain. And each time you do this, you are basically making yourself less successful. It's not, I don't do these assignments just for a grade. I'm doing it for you to practice your own thinking skills. And if you wish, I can post some articles about how the overuse of AI is destroying people's critical thinking skills and bringing cognitive stuff down. I.e., the more you use AI, the dumber you're getting. Like, proven, scientifically backed that it is actually bringing your brain the opposite direction. And politics, you need to be able to think. You have to be able to think critically because politicians are skilled at manipulating people. That's how they get where they want to go. I don't care which side you're looking at, whether you're looking at right or left. That's literally what they do. They want to sway you to their side, which is why I try very carefully not to tell you my side. You may have guessed it. Don't know. I haven't told you, other than the fact that, haha, I'm neither side. I am my own. I am listed literally as independent. I prefer to use my own brain and my own critical thinking skills. I prefer to read actual facts and say, I agree with this, I don't agree with this. I do not follow or agree with a singular person or party. And that's because I use my own critical thinking skills. Um, that's what you're supposed to be doing in these courses is thinking, researching, reading. You will notice the discussions are now going to start requiring you to provide multiple sources. And it's going to mean multiple news sources because you have to back up what you say. Part of why I made those folders for the news articles is some people are overwhelmed. They don't know how to find news. I told you before about ground news. That was in week 1. I hope people are utilizing it because it will show you right versus left versus center. It shows you that scale so you can judge it. Other people are just, they find it very overwhelming. And of course, there's also the money issue. You can find a lot for free, but over a period of time, then they go, well, you've had enough freebies, so here you go. That's why I do the PDFs. Take some time, go through the news articles, even if you're just looking at the headlines, and figure out what to look at. I am trying desperately to include stuff to help you with discussions. So like week 6 is going to talk about government and climate change. So I have already started putting a lot of climate change articles in the PDF or in the news article module. It would be helpful if you find more news articles. If you like the idea of me opening a discussion board, so as you find news articles, you slap it in there to share with others, let me know. That'd be cool. I love the idea. I think I've had it in the past. I don't think I have it currently. So if you like that idea, let me know. Let's see. That's most of that. Now I want to show you the very specifics. So I was trying to get most of the talking out before I did the share screen thing, because now I'm going to show you and talk you through the group project and show you the news articles I'm referring to. Yeah. So maybe I should stop telling you what I'm going to do and just do it. Okay. So here you go. This is the American government class. A reminder, these are announcements. I highly recommend you read them randomly. So let's see. I was just seeing what else is here. Okay. I'm telling you these are the things. So here are the topics that people had suggested they wanted. So this week, week 5, we're bringing it in. So I really wanted to talk to you about that. Here I have left some feedback about the previous discussions. Like I said, I haven't done discussion 4 yet. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to content. Ooh, wait a minute. I should do this where it looks like I am you. How do I do that from here? There we go. It's up here. Dum, 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 dum. Okay. View a student. Here we go. This is what it would look like as a student. All of these to do, you've got stuff over here. I'm still setting things up. So we are going to be week 5 when this video posts. So here are your week 5 things. So don't tell me you couldn't find them. Now, if you click on this, it's not going to open for you until you open the week 5 folder. So don't forget that. If you scroll down here, you will see content browser. Scroll. So week 5 will be there when this, I was about to say when this airs, when you see this. But right now I want to go over these. Group project. If you click here, notice all it says is step 2. So step 2, here you go. The first step of your group project was being assigned to groups and then meeting your group mates. I gave you a list of words that you need to define and discuss with each other. I also told you if one of your group mates is obviously just copying, pasting, and using AI, call them out. Because this is your group. Trust me when I say it's very disrespectful for someone to cheat and do the AI thing instead of using their own brain. You should have more respect for yourself and your group mates. So if you have a group mate who you 100% can tell this was AI, call them out on it. If more people would call each other out on the cheating, then maybe more people would stop doing it and we could have a nation where people are thinking again. That would be beautiful. Anyway, now you have met your people. You have defined some very specific terms. Now you need to talk about what makes a good government. We are from the United States of America. This is American government. We have been raised to be told the US of A is the best ever and that the US of A is a true democracy. Democracy is the best government. What I want you to do now is to challenge yourself. Before you say democracy, yeah, before you do that, what makes a good government? What is a government's job? What do you yourself think needs to happen to best run a country? You have to do this so you can figure out exactly what you're looking for, because it's going to be hard to actually decide what makes a good government. You have to decide what's the most important thing to you. I gave you some examples here, like, is it where everybody should be cared for? Is it you're the big superpower? All the countries look up to you or fear you. They're going to do what you say because you're the big superpower. Is it going to be a proper government is the one who has the most money, so the country is that's the right word, economically sound? Is it nobody goes hungry? Is it everybody can afford health care? What is your definition of a good government? Once you sit there and figure out what is the most important thing for a government, you then work your way down from that. So what makes a good government? What's the main goal? And don't pick just one. You need your big overarching main goal, but then all your subcategories. Basically, you're trying to decide what is a perfect country. What do I think a country should encompass? Then that's how you know what government should be. After that, you are going to start comparing this with the definitions that you looked up previously. We're going to move on from there. But right now, literally, it's a good, proper dialogue. There will have to be back and forth, and every single group member has to discuss this. Is what actually makes a good government. Define the good government. Okay? All right. Now, going back to content. Notice here, news articles, PDFs. I got you a lot. Load more. So as you can see, there's a lot. Some of these have to do with climate. Some of them have to do with immigration. Some have to do with what just happened. And this has to do with your discussion, which I'm getting to in just one second. So I want you to take your time, look through here. I do want to apologize ahead of time, though, for as I was doing these, I was just right-click, print, save as PDF, save. And I don't know how many I saved before I discovered it was in landscape mode, and then I switched it to portrait. So some of them might be strangely formatted. Um, Oops, sorry. All right, discussion. Let's see if the discussion shows up while I'm looking at it as a student. Da-don, da-don. Whoa, those should not be there. Nope. Okay, just so you know, these are all changing, so hopefully you're not trying to work ahead. Um, I have to get rid of this so I can look at the discussion that I want to talk about. So here we go. We're going to look at discussion number 5. There we go. Discussion 5 right here. I am bringing in one of the topics you said you wanted to talk about. Multiple people said they wanted to know, how did we get so divided? By that, I took it to mean, how did we get so much of the Republicans X, the Democrats X? Those people are horrible. Those people are horrible. That's a very valid question. And it's one that I really hope you guys decide to put some research into, because a moment ago, I talked about critical thinking skills and thinking for yourself. This division, this has been done throughout history. There are other governments who have done exactly this, because when you have a division, you can control better. And yeah, that's all I'm saying on that one. I want you to look more up into why government might want their people divided. But it's not an accident. This is literally a playbook. So I hope you look at other governments and look at like the group thing where I told you guys to look up specific words. Some of those totally use the division to have an us versus them mentality in order to produce a very specific result. Um, this division has caused a lot of issues. And we just had this recent shooting of Charlie Kirk. And I thought this was the perfect time to put it all together, but it's not just a Charlie Kirk issue. So I brought up 2 other shootings that happened in June. I believe it was June 14th, 2025, that there were these other shootings that took place. So I gave those names here to make it easy for you to Google. What I want you to do here is research that division issue, research the shooting of Melissa Hortman, John Hoffman, and Charlie Kirk. Look at the political end, the political beliefs, what each one stood for, who did the shooting. And here's the big kicker. Look at the responses after the shooting. Look at what the president said about both of them. Well, I should say all 3 of them. Look at what the local politicians, like the various state governors, said about the different ones. I don't mean look at every single state, but a few. Just take a sampling. Look at what the news said about each. And like really take a good look. I put here that I want you to look at obvious bias, like look for the obvious bias. Obvious bias, I included an article in the news things where it's said that it was obviously the violent leftists are the one who did this, but that's not accurate. So the obvious bias is the violent leftist. The misinformation is the fact that it wasn't anyone from the left who did the shooting. If you research the shooter, you will find a completely different background. And then the flip-floppiness. Certain things were said immediately after the shooting that were then adjusted after the shooter was identified. And I find this interesting. I plan to give you more after, but I want you to research it. And that's why I'm trying really hard not to say too much. But I want you to look at the outpouring of various things after all three of these shootings. It's only two different dates because, like I said, two of them happened on the same date, same area, everything. So you can lump those two together. Um, but this is why I said don't do the stupid AI thing. Use your brain. I need you to be thinking about this. I want you to think about what you think about it. You have to research. You have to give me sources. I want the URL. That's where it says here. Actually read some news articles, cite, provide the URL, the sources. I don't mean embedded hyperlink up throughout the discussion. I mean at the bottom when you have finished talking, like if you say New York Times, you say something happened, put New York Times, but then give me the actual link at the bottom for where the story came from. I want to be able to click that link and read exactly the same news article you read. So it has to be an actual article. If it throws me straight to a paywall, I will expect you to have attached a PDF just like I do. The big thing here is you have to prove to the class and me that the information you say that you've gained, you're showing us where you got it so we can compare. When you are replying to other people, that's what I want you to do. I do not want any, oh my gosh, I agree, this was horrible. We know it's horrible. I don't want any of that crap. What I want from you and require from you is for you to check the sources that they listed. See if what they said matches what that link says. Make sure the links work. If you find that somebody posted a dead link or it's a not true link, call them out. We have to hold everybody in our class accountable. So you are also making sure that who you are responding to is doing their job. That means you can't get away with a quick, simple little reply. Don't waste the time because if you're not doing what I require, it's going to hurt your grade. None of this BS fluff anymore because we're into, shall we say, the meat and potatoes of the course now. This is what's happening right now, and you have to discuss it. So that is week 5 discussion. I swear I was thinking there was something else I was going to tell you about, but I feel like I just went off on way too long of a tangent. Anyway, each week, because I'm working on week 6 now, I will be bringing in one of those topics that you suggested and bringing in current stuff and forcing you to address it. So the coast is over, with the exception of I do have at least 1 week built in to help you go. But until then, you best work really hard. And yes, that's pretty much it. So peace out.